ICE, the agency above the law. On July 7, 2026, Lorenzo Salgado Araujo was driving his construction crew to work in Houston. He had lived in the United States for 35 years. He had no criminal record, and according to Homeland Security, he was not even the target of the operation. Minutes later, an ICE officer shot him dead. DHS said Salgado tried to ram an officer with his van. 2 passengers gave sworn statements saying that account was false. ICE then detained the witnesses. A federal judge ordered one released, ruling that his continued detention violated due process. Local prosecutors say federal officials withheld the agents' identities and critical evidence. So who is being investigated here? The shooter or the witnesses? That question goes far beyond one death. ICE was created in 2003 after 9/11 as part of the Department of Homeland Security. One branch, Homeland Security Investigations, targets trafficking, smuggling, child exploitation and transnational crime. Another, enforcement and removal operations, arrests, detains and deports non-citizens. ICE is not Border Patrol. That is CBP, and ICE is not a rogue private army. It is an executive branch agency. The president sets enforcement priorities. DHS gives the orders. Congress supplies the money. The Justice Department decides how aggressively federal agents are investigated. That matters because when the system produces abuse, a few bad agents is not a complete explanation. The warning signs are not new. Government auditors found that from 2015 through March 2020, ICE data recorded 674 arrests, 121 detentions, and 70 removals involving people flagged as potential US citizens. Potential does not prove every case was wrongful, but it exposes dangerous gaps in verification. A bipartisan Senate investigation later found that women at a privately operated ICE facility underwent excessive, invasive, and often unnecessary gynecological procedures while agency oversight failed. Presidents from both parties built this machine. George Walker Bush created ICE. Barack Obama expanded programs, connecting local arrests to federal deportations. Joe Biden narrowed some interior enforcement priorities. But ICE still removed 271,484 people in fiscal year 2024, the highest number in a decade. Donald Trump's second administration changed the incentive from prioritization to volume. In 2025, White House advisor Stephen Miller and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem reportedly demanded 3,000 immigration arrests every day. Congress backed the expansion with $45 billion for detention capacity, $8 billion for more ICE personnel, and billions more for transportation and removals. By July 11, 2026, ICE held 65,765 people. More than 70% had no criminal conviction. That does not mean every detainee was harmless. Some had pending charges, but it destroys the claim that this system is limited to the worst of the worst. Unlawful presence is generally a civil violation, not proof that someone is a violent criminal. Then came Minneapolis. On January 7th, ICE agent Jonathan Ross shot and killed Renée Good, a 37-year-old American citizen and mother, inside her vehicle. DHS immediately described Good as a violent rioter who had weaponized her car and committed an act of domestic terrorism. Officials said Ross was struck and injured, but multiple videos led local officials and independent observers to dispute the government's account of where Ross stood and whether Good was steering toward him or away. No court has ruled the shooting murder. The state investigation remains open, but the federal government announced its verdict almost immediately, then refused for 6 months to give local prosecutors body camera footage, the bullet-damaged vehicle, and other evidence. The Justice Department also declined to open a civil rights investigation. That is the deeper scandal. The same government that sent the agents shaped the public story, controlled the evidence, and resisted outside review. And the deaths do not end on the street. 33 people died in ICE detention in 2025. By late June 2026, another 19 had died. Reuters found that the death rate had more than doubled since Trump returned to office. DHS rejected the idea of a spike and said its detention system maintains higher standards of care than most prisons. Now look at Camp East Montana, a massive detention site at Fort Bliss. Geraldo Luna's Campos died there after guards restrained him. DHS said staff were trying to stop a suicide attempt. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide caused by compression of his neck and torso. Then the Government Accountability Office found that required use of force reports had not been provided, while evidence was missing or destroyed. It also found failures in tuberculosis screening, untreated chronic conditions, deficient suicide monitoring, and even a loaded gun lost inside the facility. Because the rushed contract lacked meaningful performance metrics, ICE officials said they could not impose financial penalties. This is not simply neglect behind the fence. It is publicly funded neglect protected by administrative failure. ICE supporters make a legitimate argument. A country has the right to enforce its immigration laws, execute final removal orders, and arrest dangerous offenders. Pretending every person detained by ICE is innocent is dishonest. But the opposite lie is just as dangerous, that everyone caught in this machine is a criminal, and every agent's use of force becomes justified the moment DHS issues a press release. Lorenzo Salgado was not the target. Renée Good was a citizen. Witnesses were detained. Evidence was withheld. People died in facilities the government funded but failed to control. The real question is not whether America should have immigration enforcement. It is whether any federal agency should be allowed to arrest people, kill civilians, investigate itself, and demand public trust before releasing the evidence. If ICE is enforcing the law, who enforces the law on ICE?